All right, the Justice Department responding overnight to former President Trump's request for a special master to review the FBI raid on his Florida home, calling it unnecessary. In that filing, the agency also accusing Trump's team of trying to hide documents and, quote, efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation, end quote. A federal judge is expected to make a decision on President Trump's request at a hearing tomorrow. Joining the conversation all morning long, James Freeman, Brandon Arnold, they are with me. James, let's start with you, because this really gives you a sense, at least what the government claims it was thinking when it escalated this to the point where it wanted to get a search warrant to raid the home of a former president, saying that, you know, former President Trump says he was cooperating with the Justice Department, but he wasn't. They're feeling obstruction.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of skepticism about the FBI, and there should be. This is the entity of our government that criminally fabricated evidence in order to obtain a wiretap authority on a Trump associate. So there should be a lot of skepticism here, given that history. So now we have the government objecting to the Trump effort to get a special master to look at the documents, an independent party to say, okay, what documents did the government have a right to? What documents should it not have seized?
Right.
Now, why the government would object to this, which I think if they were legitimate, serious, and had a reasonable rationale for doing what they were doing, wouldn't they want a third party to affirm that?
I think you're right, Brandon. I mean, you can't unring the bell. If certain documents were taken that weren't supposed to be taken, that were protected by attorney-client privilege, for example, why not just appoint a special master who can sift through those documents, separate them, and return them to the former president?
Yeah, I think what's really important in this instance is transparency. And we get these documents that come from the Department of Justice or come out of the courts, and they're so heavily redacted that we can't really tell, we can't really ascertain what is taking place here. This is an extraordinarily politically charged environment. The stakes are extremely high right here. And what the public needs to know is what is taking place. Obviously, we can't be privy to certain classified information, but otherwise the public needs to know what is taking place here to alleviate some of this skepticism and alleviate concerns that these actions might be politically motivated.
Right. I mean, the public wants to have confidence in our justice system, the Department of Justice, the FBI as well. But it's difficult sometimes if you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes or what the motivations are. Meanwhile, James, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland issuing a memo banning political appointees from participating in partisan events and reiterating the DOJ's policy of prohibiting communications with members of Congress. Your reaction to that, James?
Yeah, this shouldn't even need to be said at this point. Obviously, Justice Department attorneys should not be engaged in partisan politics, but I think the larger concern is what really appears to be unequal justice here. And it's really, unfortunately, been occurring from the start of Mr. Garland's tenure, going after election laws passed by Republicans in states that were completely legitimate, duly enacted laws, and he basically adopted the Democratic political line that there was some great injustice going on. And obviously this latest case doesn't make you more comfortable that nonpartisan justice is being served.
Yeah, great point. James, Brandon, stick around. We've got much more ahead this morning coming up. The August ADP report is out in just a few minutes. We're going to give you those numbers right as they cross. Plus, we're looking ahead to the long Labor Day weekend. We've got the Yankee Doodle Dandy's food truck joining us. They're going to talk about the boom in business over the holiday. Don't miss